Luke, why autobiographer?
So, as humans, all we are is our stories, right? And I think that as we reflect on all of the events that have gotten us to a particular moment in time, the way that we tell our internal narrative about the things that we took away from it is incredibly powerful in shaping the person we become, the way we show up to the people in our lives. And I think having a grasp on that story is just so valuable. An autobiographer is a tool that helps us understand everything that's come together to make us who we are.
How does autobiographer help you understand yourself better?
Yeah, it's that intuitive curiosity. I start telling a story about a trip that I took, and all of a sudden I'm reflecting on the people I was with, the mental state that I was in, the difficult moment that I'd maybe forgotten, and you realize that in that crazy world of your mind, all of these things are there, and it's really beautiful to rediscover them.
How does autobiographer help you interrogate and kind of chip away at your memories so
Yeah.
that they become clearer?
Autobiographer helps you understand each memory kind of piece by piece. You tell a story, you have a conversation, and in the end, when you're not focused on the quality of the answer, you're just going, you say things, you're more honest with yourself, and where you end up is always very interesting.
Just explain how the questions kind of open you up to
Yeah.
new observations and memories.
Our question architecture thinks like a person and it asks questions, not as good as you ask questions, obviously, but we're trying our best. And I think the reality is that we're able to get to a point of natural conversation that allows people to feel at ease in telling their story and having someone who's an excited listener to understand everything about their life in this really beautiful way.
Can you tell us how your upbringing influenced your ideas about design and storytelling?
So I grew up on a farm in Pennsylvania. I was homeschooled, and I just loved being able to go outside, build things, read about history, write stories, be creative. And I think that when I was working with the whole team to build Autobiographer, we were really trying to say, how can we make it as simple and easy for anyone to tell their story and to have this conversation partner? So we've made it really simple. It's just a few buttons, and it's just a natural conversation. And I think for me, it was going back to the basics of how do you build something that's just very obvious. And when somebody opens up Autobiographer, we hope they just have a seamless experience from there on out.
I know so many people who regret not knowing more about
Yeah.
their families, not knowing about their grandparents' experiences or their parents or even their siblings. How does this help preserve family legacies?
Yeah, so I lost my dad when I was 14. And for me, he was really into technology, which is one of the reasons why I'm really into technology. And he recorded a video for each of us in the immediate family. And I waited 20 years to watch it. So I just watched it last year on the 20th anniversary about thereabouts of his passing. And I realized when I got to the end of the video, that was all I had of his. I didn't have anything else, either stories from friends, etc. And I realized that I wanted to help create a tool that would not ever put someone else in the same position that so many of us are in, where we don't know those things. And the way that we have to do it is making it as easy as possible. And that was really one of the things that went into the philosophy of this. We know that many of our users may be older, maybe facing a life-threatening illness, maybe in a dangerous career. And we want to make it easy for them to discover and preserve their memories and their stories to be passed down. And it's really personal for me.
Why do you think it's so important for people to have these stories preserved and to have the ability to pass them on from generation to generation?
I just think it's really beautiful to know where you come from. And for me, as we were working on Autobiographer, I was falling in love, and we was doing it over long distance. So the only way we were able to communicate was writing long letters to each other about our stories. And in sitting down to tell my stories and receiving stories from Rachel, my fiance, started to get a clearer picture on what the last 10, 20 years have been like, and realizing that wanting to save that, wanting our kids and the generations beyond to have access to that was just so valuable. And we kind of channeled that energy into how can we make it as easy for other people to have these tools as well.
You think about it, and people don't write letters
They
anymore.
don't.
So I have letters from my parents. I have a diary my mom kept when my father was in the Navy,
Wow.
and it's so beautiful to read. But people don't really write letters anymore. So this is a way to preserve the written word.
And there's something about seeing the written word in such a thankful way written to you that is really powerful. And I think we've lost connection to that, 140 characters or a little soundbite is not the same. And I think getting getting a memory from someone that you really care about, explaining and recalling a story, it's just super powerful. And we can't wait to share that with everyone.